What if the greatest threats in politics aren't the ones we see, but the ones we refuse to see? Beneath every policy, protest, and promise, there are hidden forces quietly shaping the game. In this video, we're exposing 5 political shadows that manipulate leaders, divide nations, and live in all of us. The shadow of power lust is one of the most seductive and insidious forces in politics. It begins with the desire to lead, influence, or protect, but slowly mutates into a compulsion to dominate and control. This shadow hides behind noble causes, for the people, for justice, but its true motive is self-glorification. When someone is run by this energy, they begin to believe their rule is righteous no matter the cost, and dissent becomes a threat rather than a dialogue. The more power they gain, the more disconnected they become from the soul of leadership, humility, and service. They may use charisma, fear, or propaganda to manipulate the masses, convincing others and themselves that their dominance is necessary. In truth, power lust is a mask for deep insecurity and fear of powerlessness, projected onto the world and weaponized through control. The shadow of the savior complex in politics disguises control as compassion. Leaders or movements believe they alone can fix the system, placing themselves above the people they claim to serve. This often breeds dependency, where citizens are encouraged to follow rather than think critically or take responsibility. While the intention may start noble, it quickly turns into moral superiority, justifying censorship, coercion, or manipulation in the name of the greater good. True service empowers others. The savior complex, in contrast, quietly reinforces hierarchy and control. The shadow of projection in politics turns inner wounds into external enemies. Rather than confronting their own fears, shame, or inadequacies, individuals and groups disown these parts of themselves and cast them onto the opposing side. This fuels polarization, where political opponents become exaggerated symbols of everything one hates or fears, rather than real human beings. It creates a false sense of righteousness, making honest dialogue or compromise nearly impossible. In truth, the more we project, the more we remain blind to the parts of ourselves most in need of healing. The shadow of tribalism thrives on the illusion of absolute loyalty and identity through group belonging. It offers a seductive sense of safety. We are right, they are wrong, but at the cost of critical thought and personal truth. People begin to define themselves not by values or character, but by allegiance to a side, often justifying cruelty or hypocrisy if it protects the group. Dissent becomes betrayal, and nuance is lost in the noise of slogans and outrage. In reality, tribalism is the fear of being alone, masked as moral certainty. The shadow of corruption through fear operates quietly, convincing people that control is safety and obedience is protection. Political leaders often exploit uncertainty, using fear to pass laws, suppress opposition, or gain unquestioned loyalty. Over time, fear-based narratives create a culture of silence where people trade their voice for comfort. This shadow doesn't always scream. It whispers through headlines, sound bites, and manipulated data. It thrives in the absence of critical thought and courage, feeding on the collective wound of insecurity. True integrity in leadership means confronting fear without becoming its servant or using. So, what's the solution? I believe the solution is a collective awakening through shadow work could radically transform the world by shifting the root of change from external blame to internal responsibility. When individuals begin to face and integrate their own darkness, fear, shame, control, and projection, they stop unconsciously feeding the systems that thrive on division and fear. This inner work ripples outward, dissolving the need for enemies and replacing reactive politics with conscious participation. As more people become emotionally honest and self-aware, power structures built on manipulation lose their grip. Collective shadow work doesn't mean everyone agrees. It means we relate to disagreement with curiosity instead of hate. It opens space for truth to rise without violence, for justice to emerge without vengeance. In essence, it's not a revolution of force, it's a return to wholeness, one soul at a time. If you're ready to understand yourself on a deeper level and be part of the shift toward a more conscious world, hit subscribe. Together, we'll explore how shadow work not only transforms lives, but heals the very fabric of society.